Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I do want to speak about the top 3 best players that did perform against FC Porto, right? Because I think that Barcelona had an amazing game overall, right, as a collective, but I do want to give out my top 3 very best players and with a honorable mention. I'm also going to be talking about the top 3 worst players, but I'm not going to be spending too much time on that. I understand that you guys wanted me to talk about the top 3 worst players of this match, but again, this is a moment for us to celebrate. I think that we should only spread positive vibes because Barcelona have achieved a really good thing, and that is to go into the next round of the Champions League, which is why I'm not going to be spending too much time on that. I just want to talk about the top 3 best players, and again with an honorable mention. So if you guys are new here, welcome to the channel. I'm happy that you guys are here. If you guys are Barcelona fans, this is going to be the channel for you. And if you guys also want to support this YouTube channel, you guys can so by liking this video and also subscribing to the channel. I would really appreciate it. So let's first talk about player number 3 that is going to be ranked, and that is Iñaki Peña. I think that Iñaki Peña had a big match and a very important occasion. Barcelona needed to win this match to go to the next round, and yes, there were chances where Porto could have scored, but because of Iñaki Peña, he came in and he saved those shots. He had 4 key saves, and every time I see Iñaki Peña play for the team, I'm starting to really realize where his strengths are, and that is him being a really good shot stopper. He's not really good as a distributor, like he's not that great in terms of passing like how Ter Stegen is. I think that he can improve on that because he's only 24 years old, but right now his main strength is being a great shot stopper, which is why we saw him stop so many shots in this match. And so with Ter Stegen being out and injured, I think that Iñaki Peña is a great substitute for Ter Stegen. There was a lot of pressure, yes, but Peña delivered, and he was one of the heroes against FC Porto. Also, Iñaki Peña wanted to say this after the match was over: Marc-Andre Ter Stegen has helped me a lot, especially in training today. Before the game, he wished me luck, and now he congratulated me. So I'm happy to see that Ter Stegen is being a mentor to Iñaki Peña, showing him how to be one of the heroes for your team. So great job to Iñaki Peña, and that is why I rank him in number 3 in the top 3 best players against FC Porto. Moving on towards player number 2, and that is going to be Joao Felix. So look, I want to get one thing very clear about Joao Felix. When he is at his best, when we know that he's performing at his very best level, he can also become one of the world's best players. And we all knew that he has the capability to do that because remember, about 2 or 3 years ago or 4 years ago, back in 2019, many did see Joao Felix as the next golden boy of the world because Joao Felix was that talented. And so when you see Felix being on his A game, like what we saw against FC Porto, you just know that Joao Felix has so much talent. He has so much room to grow. He can really become one of the best players in the world. And so I'm happy to see that he's showing his true colors with Barcelona, and I see him much more hyperactive, and especially in the second half, he really picked up his game. He looks much more eager to score. And yes, it is true, right? I have said that Joao Felix should have been taken off and that Xavi Hernandez should embrace an 11 that does not include Joao Cancelo and Joao Felix. And I said that because I believed that Barcelona needed more stability and more control in matches. Having Joao Felix and Joao Cancelo in the team does not really give you that. And I did say that also because I never thought that Xavi Hernandez had the balls to bench Alejandro Balde. But because Balde continued to be at a bad level, it led towards Joao Cancelo going to that side. And so because Joao Cancelo went to that side, which was the left back position, and with Gavi now out for 9 months, it gave Joao Felix a much bigger chance to succeed because you place him in the correct position, which is on the left wing position, and you also give him a great partner, which is Joao Cancelo on the left flank. And that changed everything with the way that I do see these two players because of what Xavi did with the starting 11. So I think that Xavi has found Joao Felix's best partner, and that is Cancelo. They truly do understand each other, and I think that we also saw this at Portugal. We saw Cancelo play on the left back position, and we saw Cancelo and Felix play constantly on the left flank, and they played very well. So I'm like, oh yeah, like no wonder Xavi should have done this like 2 or 3 months ago. So it's crazy to see how Joao Felix and his story has evolved because like little over a year ago, Felix did start for Atletico Madrid, and he was playing against Porto, and they lost in that match 2-1 during the Champions League, and they were knocked out of the group stages on that year. So it was not a good year for Atletico Madrid and Joao Felix. But now, fast forward 1 year later, now you see Joao Felix being one of the protagonists on this match against Porto, and Barcelona are now going to the Champions League knockout stages because of him and some other players. So I think that if he continues with this type of enthusiasm in his game, I think that Barcelona would really go for the loan and try to say, okay, yes, we understand that we have a loan with Joao Felix, but we want to change that. We no longer want to have Felix on loan. We want to convert him into a permanent transfer and keep him for about 4 to 5 more years because of what he has been providing. And this is only if Felix continues to be at this form. If he does, I see Barcelona going after a renewal. If not, if he gives out like a 6 out of 10 performance in the next game, and then on the next game you see a 8 out of 10, and then on the next one you see a 3 out of 10, and you just see a lot of inconsistencies, I don't see Barcelona going for Joao Felix and extending his stay at Barcelona. But with this performance against Porto, we want to see this over and over again, and I can't wait to see the match against Atletico Madrid to see how Felix does play, because I know that game is going to be very special for him, because you know Atletico Madrid was the team that introduced him to top European football, like top tier European football. Yes, I know that he was at Portugal before, but going to Atletico Madrid is a whole different monster because you embrace a whole new set of things. But now this is what's going to lead me towards player number one, right? So the best player against FC Porto, and that is Joao Cancelo. Joao Cancelo is over Joao Felix in my opinion because he provided not only just a goal, but also an assist. He also had a 10 out of 10 performance, I believe. SofaScore also rated him at a 10, which I have never seen before coming from SofaScore. And I think that with his impact, it looked very similar to the impact of Lionel Messi. Now, remember, I'm not here talking about how Cancelo is as good as Messi. I'm not talking about it in terms of level. I'm talking about in terms of effectiveness. Like the amount of effectiveness Cancelo had for Barcelona was very similar to how Messi had his effectiveness to Barcelona about 4 to 5 years ago. Every time Cancelo received the ball on the left flank with Joao Felix being right next to him, you always felt like something was gonna happen. Like you knew their intentions. You knew that they wanted to go up there and try to score goals. And he was constantly always looking for Joao Felix. So I think that two things led up towards this moment. To Cancelo really providing something special on the left back position is the fact that yes, he was playing on the left back position, but also Xavi Hernandez gave him the freedom to roam up top and to be positioned very high. As you can see on the heat map here, Joao Cancelo was very high up the pitch, one of the top strikers, I think, right? He was almost damn near playing as a left winger and being very tucked in with Joao Felix. So in a way, you can almost see that it was like a front four or something crazy like that. I don't know what Xavi has been thinking as of late, but you can see that Rafinha, number 11, Lewandowski, number 9, Felix, and then you have Cancelo right here on the left wing position. And you can see where he was playing at. You can see there's a little bit of red on the opposition's box. So Cancelo was very active on the attack. And I think that one of the reasons why Cancelo also was given the freedom to go that high, because remember, he's a left back, right? A left back is supposed to be having the duty to defend. But the reason why he has so much freedom is because behind him, he had Koundé, Inigo Martinez, and Araujo. That is the thing that changes everything about the way that I think about Cancelo and Felix, right? Going back to the previous points that I made. This back three of Koundé, Inigo Martinez, and Araujo changes everything, my friend. Everything. I don't even think Cancelo would be allowed to go that high if we knew that Barcelona had Sergi Roberto on the right back position. That would be suicide. That would be something similar to like having Cancelo and Balde. But having a center back playing in the right back position, whether it's Koundé or Araujo, and in my opinion, I think that Koundé is better on the right back position or right center back position, whatever you want to call it. Having a center back in the right back position does give more stability to the squad overall and much more balance. And I know that many of you guys might call me again a hypocrite because I did say before that, you know, Felix and Cancelo should be benched, and you guys already know what I'm going to say about these two players. It just changes everything because, like I've said, if I did say this because I never knew that Xavi Hernandez had the balls to bench Alejandro Balde. Because if you have Balde, Cancelo, and Felix starting in the 11, it's suicide. It is just plain suicide. And that is why I proposed, assuming that Xavi was never going to bench Balde, to have Cancelo and Felix out. And the fact that Xavi Hernandez has the balls to bench Balde now, I wish that he gave the same energy to Lewandowski. Like, you know, like if you know that one of your players are not performing at their best, just bench them out and replace them with a new player. Like Lewandowski has not been at his best. Why not bench Lewandowski? Just like how you benched Alejandro Balde. So Cancelo's just one hell of a left back, dude. Like he really does show what he can do. And every time he goes central, because he likes to like drive in with his right foot, you can see that he really does enjoy playing his football in areas like that. There's a reason why Man City played Cancelo as a left back constantly. And if you guys do not know yet, Cancelo is okay physically. He's not injured at all. If anything, he did say after the match that he's ready to play against Atletico Madrid. So now let's move on towards the honorable mention. And I do want to speak about Inigo Martinez. Inigo Martinez was exceptional. He was very composed when the ball was going towards him, whether he had to defend or when he was on the ball. Always composed. Very stable. Great passer. He showed great leadership. As a matter of fact, like he was screaming so many times. We even heard him from like our end because the microphone, it picked up his screams. And so Inigo Martinez is a true leader. You can see that he really likes to speak to the other players. He's very vocal on certain things and he wants certain things in certain plays to be in a specific way because of how experienced Inigo Martinez is, right? He's allowed to say these things because he's been through a lot in his career. So he blocked a lot of shots against FC Porto. So please guys, like I know that like 4 or 5 months ago, right? right? Many were saying that the only reason why Inigo Martinez is going to Barcelona is because he's Spanish. No, it's because he has such a great level. So please put respect on this player's name. He's a true center back with high quality. And the best thing from all of this is that he does not even have like a real bad partner. Like every time you pair him with either Koundé or pair him with Christensen, who is a left-footed center back, or you pair him with Araujo, he's always very comfortable playing with any of those center backs. So Inigo Martinez is going to be in my honorable mentions list. So now moving on quickly to the worst 3 players in this match. Like remember, I'm not going to be spending too much time on this. I really don't want to. It's a time to be very positive. But if you guys are asking for a topic like this, I'm just going to give it out straight up here. Number 3 is going to be Rafinha. I think that yes, Rafinha did try his hardest in the game, but it just wasn't enough. We needed much more from our right winger. Lamine Yamal came in for Rafinha, as a matter of fact, and he provided much more results on the right flank and much more danger. I think that Rafinha's downfall is always going to be the 1v1 ability. I don't think that Rafinha has that yet, and I think that he should have been having that because he's 26 or 27 years old. Rafinha should be having that 1v1 ability, and it's sad to see that maybe Rafinha does not have that in his talents. So I would say that he is in ranked number 3. Moving on towards player number 2, I would say Gundogan. I think that Gundogan looked a little loose in my opinion, made a lot of misplaced passes. I'm gonna give him a pass though, and this is the reason why I didn't really want to talk about like this section of the video and talk about like the worst players, because I know that Gundogan is tired secretly. I know that Gundogan does not want to say this to the media or to the coach, but I know that Gundogan is tired. You can just tell that he's tired. He has been playing in every game, playing in every minute, but Xavi will continue to use Gundogan over and over again, regardless if he's tired or not, up until like it's gonna have to go up into their faces and say Gundogan is gonna be out for 4 to 5 weeks after he tore his hamstring or he tore his quad or something like that, right? It's like Gundogan literally has to get injured for him to get rested, and I think that right now Gundogan has to get rested, because if he doesn't, you're gonna get performances like this, like what we saw against FC Porto. Gundogan is tired, so that is why I do think that he had a okay performance. It wasn't like one of his top tier performances, and I wish that we had better from him, because I think that it would have been a much easier game for Barcelona if only Gundogan was at a 10 out of 10. So moving on towards number 1, and that is going to be Lewandowski. Lewandowski, as you guys may know, missed many chances. There was a play where he did receive the ball from I think either Joao Cancelo or Joao Felix. He received the ball right outside the penalty box. He mistouches it and he loses possession, and then FC Porto got possession of the ball and they went on the counter. I don't know what's going on with Lewandowski, but I just feel like mentally he's not there. Like I see him speaking to the youngsters and saying like, this is what we have to do. We have to be focused and blah, blah, blah. But when it comes to like him actually having possession of the ball under pressure, he loses the ball. It's like he loses focus very quick. And I feel like he's not really in sync with the rhythm of Barcelona, or not really in sync with the rhythm of the game overall. So I don't know if this has something to do with his physical fitness, or his mentality is not like as fast as it used to be, right? Like his mental state, because I remember Luis Suarez saying about 4 or 5 years ago, back in 2018 or 2019, he was saying that one of the things that does get slower is your mind, right? Like your mind is not able to really be in rhythm with the game, because the game is just so young now, right? You have to deal with the players that are 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 years old. Players around that age range have a faster state of mind, right? They think about things before it actually happens. When you're older, your mind does slow down in a way, right? I'm not saying that your mind is slow overall when you hit your 30s, but it does get slower, like when you compare it to the young players. And I feel like Luis Suarez at that time had a point, because when he knew that he was getting to that state mentally, that is why he moved on and went to a different club in 2020. And I feel like the same thing is going on with Lewandowski. He just doesn't look mentally in sync with the other players. And so that is it, right? So that is going to be my video for today. I hope you guys did enjoy this one. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.